Welcome back.
Hey, I'm here.
So where were we?
Now let people join. I'm sure you want your legion of supporters so that you can hound
They're
me
not,
out.
they're not commenting. That's my problem. They need to attack you.
But you know,
This is the only opportunity we can get.
do you know what the issue? The issue is that it's not so much to attack me. The issue is about engagement, because you know, and I'm saying this because I'm on this value issue as a country, because we think the only way we produce results is because we must attack you. We must engage. Now, for me to say that the system is wrong, it means that I'm pointing to an issue. But if I say that Josey is wrong, it is too personal. That's why we have become toxic.
But I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you, Doctor. I really believed in President Mnangagwa when he took over. My only problem, I'll be honest, I'm not PAC member. I'm not under any oath. So I will say this as a citizen. My only problem with him was, of course, he grabbed an opportunity, took over from President Mugabe. Then Tomboy Mutodi from wherever, my friend Mutodi, cabinet. This one, Owen, what, my friend, cabinet. You know, we have brilliant people, intelligent people that could form that government. And I am telling you, this is my opinion. President Mnangagwa would thrive. He would thrive. But it's like some people were holding guns on him to say, I need to be in that cabinet with no experience. Njombolo guys, you know, I interviewed Minister Mutodi. I still told him this thing that, look, do you think you really deserved that office?
Yeah. So here is my view. Let me just take you through a journey, because I've never left this country. So I've traveled globally.
You keep rubbing that on me. You keep rubbing that on me, please.
I am telling you, because some of the things that have happened whilst you've been away, you might not have got the full grasp. So here is the journey. So let's talk about political leadership selection. Where does it start? It starts at grassroots. So during the previous dispensation, because now this is called the new dispensation. So let's talk about the previous dispensation. This is also called the Second Republic. So let's talk about more palatable terms here. So the First Republic, there was an oppressive nature about our leadership that hounded good people to take political office. So for you to take political office, you had to use bravado and courage. In some cases, it didn't need brains, because that is the nature of the beast. So if you're going to be raised up in the rural areas and you wanted to oppose whatever, the ruling party there, you had no chance. You'd be hounded out, you'd be burnt alive, you'd be all sorts of things. But even if you're in the ruling party, for you to be able to gain political leadership there was a lot of threats. It was not a free and fair situation. It had to be the strong, the ones with the bigger muscle, the one who could maim and kill, or the ones who could subdue. And it was more hard power than soft power. So take that as a model. So when somebody from the ruling party rises there, they are not judged by their intellect, by their qualifications. So because that is not part of the CV. It is who is popular amongst the people. So we need to go back to a criteria of choosing people that will, and I'm coming, and it's going to get more painful, as I say it right now. It's going to get more painful. So you take an MP who has used bravado, threats, and they win the primaries. Doesn't matter whether it's ruling party or it is the opposition. I'm going to use the word politics here in Zimbabwe. So they then run the election. The elections are heavily contested. We have all the results of all our elections since in the 80s have been contested. The result has been contested, and violence and so on and so forth. So which means the result you have of an MP is somebody who can withstand such an environment. So it is not a battle of ideas. So the choosing of a leader is never a battle of ideas. The choosing of a leader is who is the strongest. So it's a jungle process. Who is stronger? Who can deal with this? So they get up. They are now at the National Assembly. This guy has never read any book. They've never contributed anything intellectual. They're stuck at the National Assembly. Now they have to draw up laws for you, Josey, who is a PhD, has done this. Now you've got to go and say, look, but now, guess what they will cry out for when they get there? They are not driven by an aspiration of changing the destiny of our country. They're more driven by an aspiration of how do I feed my tummy? So it becomes a politics of food or politics of the stomach. And this is the reality. I'm not trying to mess this up. I'm not trying to be, posture something that is not real. So you get, that is the National Assembly. So look at that. So these guys were the National Assembly. What does our Constitution say? You can only choose ministers that are coming from the National Assembly and the Senate. What has been the source of bringing those? What has been the process of bringing the caliber, the quality of those people? What has been that process? Exactly what I've just explained to you. And now they get there. So you now have to choose ministers. So you've got to choose again the minister who is bravado. And you're only allowed to choose 5. So you're not allowed to choose 5 that are outside. The rest, if you have a cabinet of 25, 20 are coming from that crowd. I call it a crowd. Now let's go to the city councils. That's even worse because I worked with the city councils myself closely. It's on record. I worked with the Harare City Council. I worked with the Chungizo municipality. Now, these people, their basic exposures and experiences are really, I'm not going to disabuse certain jobs and so on, but the level of their experience has nothing to do with somebody who will be able to understand how do you bring water reticulation into a place like Harare City Council. So we reduce their thinking. So the best celebration they have is sink a borehole. Because where they're coming from, a borehole is actually a technology that is fascinating. So they don't go back to the drawing board and say, look, let's have a master plan. Let's do the following. Let's make sure we don't have sewer that is flowing out all over the place and the kids. And we had cholera outbreak just a couple of years back. And I'm part of the cholera team, the cholera elimination team. I chair the task force. So we have that problem going on. And now what are the councillors doing? They're fighting for their allowances. Josey, they're fighting for their allowances. The first thing they get there is, where's my transport allowance? Now, so who's sitting there and saying, look, let's have a master plan for our wash, water, sanitation and health facilities, the whole infrastructure. Just the other month, we shut down Morton Jeffrey for the first time. We shut it down. The same guys, we shut down, we closed the hospitals, Josey. We put chains around the doors of hospitals in the whole country. And you tell me that this is people who are not seeing the problem that we've got. So it's a leadership issue. So what must be done? So when I then come in and I'm saying I'm staying here trying to change things, I am actually making a statement that maybe I've got a little bit something to contribute.
But what about the other members? Are they agreeing with you? Are they in agreement with you?
Which members are we talking about?
The PAC.
To be honest, PAC, those are amazing professionals. Let me tell you. Amazing people. We've done wonders. So I am saying that, remember, at any point as a pastor, if I come to your house, it's good to see you and your husband when we're trying to sort this thing out. Now you have a problem. You invite me and say, come and counsel us. There is a result that is out there. Let's say you've got a business. Your workers know that you guys are fighting. Your community know that you're fighting. But they also know that I am counseling you. So do I take the blame? And do I take the blame for you fighting or continuously fighting or not doing the things that you're supposed to do?
But if you come to my house to counsel me and my husband and we don't change, will you keep coming every time? Will you continue to come?
That is the difference between the world out there and the Christian. Because God does not give up on you. So I don't give up. I actually don't give up very easily. So people actually don't know that I don't give up. Because I need to learn. I need to continue to. So it's not giving up. If I'm not the right person, then I must be told you're not the right person. And I'm the first one. That's why I don't like titles. I don't like all these things. Zimbabweans are so caught up in titles. Engineer, doctor, what?
Pastor.
You're advocate. You know, we all like pastor. You know, papa, men of God. You know, prophet. Major one, major two. We all have these issues. Why? That's why when you say, where I'm Shingi, so don't worry about all this.
Oh, yes. It's actually nice when I call you Shingi. All this pastor, I mean.
Yes, you know what I mean. So because
in the house
we're in a culture that tells us that performance is about title. You remember the president of the former republic, the introduction took no less than 2 to 3 minutes.
Commander-in-chief.
There you go. Why?
It's the same, even now. Don't say First Republic or whatever. It's the
same. So why do we need to make these things quite strenuous on the people? Why do we labor it on the people? What we need to do is people need servant leadership.
Yes.
They want leaders that they can talk to. That's why when you say, let's talk, I don't say no. Because I just need whatever. Because you've probably seen me as a leader and you want to find out more about me, I'll answer you. I've just told you there are things that I can't talk about because I'm under oath. But the general things I can talk about, I can. So, but...
Wow. So how do we move forward in Zimbabwe?
Now you're tired.
I'm not tired. I'm so confused because I want answers and you are under oath.
No, because I told you, you cannot address me as a presidential advisor. Address me as Shingi.
Are you not allowed to speak to media as a presidential advisor?
I'm not allowed to do that. Let me just tell you, as a pastor, I'm not allowed to speak on behalf of the people that I'm counseling. It's an easy thing for me. So this is not even rocket science. It's easy. You can come to me. You can come to me and say you have bashed your husband, you, Josey. I can't go out there and say, you know what, that Josey girl, oh, she bashes her husband. No, don't worry about her pretty face. Oh, that guy is in trouble. I can't do that. Because that's
so can I ask a question?
I break the trust with you, so you never get help from me.
Can I ask a question as Shingi? I mean to Shingi, not to the advisor.
Yeah. Yes.
So if Shingi,
I've been answering the questions as Shingi. I've told you what the problem
is. Yes. No, I want to ask a question now. Shingi is in the same room with Emerson.
Yeah.
Emerson Dambuzo. What would you tell Emerson? Shingi and Emerson, no advisor and president. Shingi and Emerson, what would you tell him?
Nah, because I like the way you put it. Because it's Shingi and Emerson. Magadi, yeah, Shurigo, Kumbako Gadi. Kumbako, as my say, very nice, very good. Mazwanu weather. Yeah, go to turn the reality. Who's one of the COVID? Because it's Shingi and Emerson. There we go. Then ko chiba gemazana ko makazori mama hectares akaita sei. zviri kufamba sei saka nyamudhara makazofirwa kana baba so mai vari sei mazuva anaya. That could take us an hour.
We've passed an hour.
I'm saying then I'm done. Because it's Shingi and Amazon.
No, come on. You're really dodging this question. You're really being smart. Okay. This is a private visit.
But now, let's say,
zvawakuita patwitter izvi Shingi ndo zvatakabvumira isusu.
If it is Shingi and Amazon, it will just be that conversation. We don't even refer what we are saying out there in the public.
I don't believe that.
I also won't even refer to what he's saying in the public.
I don't believe that.
But if you're saying that he's the presidential advisor and the president.
But you won't tell me. You're under oath. So I might as well not even ask.
Exactly.
Okay, Pastor Shingi Munyeza meets the president of Zimbabwe. What would you say to him?
I want to pray for you. And
I did
that. I brought a Bible and I brought a book. And I said, you know what, President, I brought you a Bible, I brought you a book. And I want to pray for you. And I prayed with him. 10, 15 minutes were done and I walked out. I came as a pastor.
I can't win.
I can't win too.
I can't win, honestly.
Now you understand, but
are you scared of him? Are you scared of him?
I'm absolutely not scared of anyone. The only person I don't even use scare. I submit myself to God totally. And let me tell you, the things I do you know that I do some, my wife is always kind of in trauma and she has to go for counseling because of me. You know that I do bungee jumping, I do skydiving, I do all those sort of things that if I just snapped a bit, I will just die.
You live your life to the fullest.
Yeah, but the issue is that I've reconciled with death. I've actually reconciled with death. That's all. So if I died today, I wouldn't, let's just say I'll be in the grave and say, look, so what could you have changed in the past 2 days? Nothing. I just go for it. They are stressful days, but even those stress, I learned something. So that takes away the fear from me. So I don't care. Life is just, because you could still care so much and then still lose your life. And we live in fear. That's why I'm an entrepreneur.
So do you still believe that the Minister of Finance is still the best, like you said before?
Yeah. Let me just tell you. Yes. Very clear. The reason being that when you look at his credentials, his experience, the policy framework that he has been pushing for. But because this whole thing we've got, it's not just an isolated issue. It is a whole system. Now, when I was CEO of African Zanu, the largest hotel group, guess what? If things went wrong, I didn't push the blame to the CFO. I took the blame because I lead the pack. I give the environment. I give the vision. I direct. But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't go for my CFO. I wouldn't ask my CFO to be vilified, to be abused. They must come to me. And if you find all my corporate battles, my team was never involved. It was always me. I am responsible. If things went right, we shared as a team. If they went wrong, I took the blame. I take the knock.
Talking of African Sun, there's a question here from the popular Matigari. He says, Comrade Munyeza, you are now comrade, you title guy, doctor, pastor, advisor, comrade Munyeza. Once had a rolling tiff with Farai Rodzi over management of African Sun. Find out from him how he resolved the matter.
Farai is my good friend, a family friend. So the corporate thieves are common. The consortium thieves are very common anywhere in the world, in business, anywhere. So there's always a disagreement of where we should go and where we shouldn't have gone. How do we resolve that? Farai just left. He focused on his own business. He was running mines, he was running banks and so on. He actually resigned from the board and moved on. He sold his shares. So that's how it was resolved. Unless somebody else knows, and maybe Farai can confirm. So if Matigari wants, you can confirm with Farai and say, look, how did you resolve it? Farai sold and resigned from the board, and he moved on. Today, actually, I was talking to him about 3 days ago. I've pastored his family for years now, until just a couple of years back.
And then there's another question here. Ask Dr. Munyeza why he chose to preach about what he discovered in government rather than resign from PAC. Does he think resigning will make him a coward? Doesn't he think not resigning is ruining him? Isn't he creating a sideshow? What does he want to achieve with his rantings?
Yeah, I just have a bit of a laugh because they are referred to as rantings, and I know who could have written that. I have lots of friends.
It's a pity.
No. I have lots of friends across the board.
Okay.
So I know them all. They are my friends. But anyway, let me just say this. Out of the principle that we all resign, let me be honest with you, Josey, I don't need to be here out of a survival approach. I don't need to be. I could be in South Africa, I could be in the UK, I could be in the United States, with proper paperwork and running businesses. Our business is now global because I'm in ICT, big data, and so on. I don't need to be here. So that's one. So the reason why I'm here is because I think that there's some things we need to fix. So people think that you can only just fix whilst you are hidden in some space. There's things that you must fix inside, but there's also things that you must fix outside. Because there's not been a projection of the results or the values that we want to project, then I project them. Now, one has to ask, what one thing have I said in my messages that they disagree with? Do we have a leadership dearth? Yes, we do. If they disagree with me, why are we where we are? Is there corruption? Yes, there is. If they disagree with me, what is going on? Is there tribalism? If they disagree with me, they have to tell me. These are obvious things that are there. And they don't need us to go into a closet to talk to about. Why are we destroying ourselves from calling a spade, which is common information? So people are not prepared to talk about that. This road needs fixing, but no, you can't talk about it in public. Going to talk to the Minister of Roads quietly. The road needs fixing. People don't want to talk about that. Our health system is collapsed. But no, you can't say it. You gotta go and tie yourself somewhere and go and speak quietly in a corner. When are we going to fix things properly and openly, Josey? When are we going to be honest with each other? Just because I'm saying things that you would want to say, and then you say, look, no, we don't want them said in public. Oh,
no, but it's the fear that was created in us, obviously, from the previous government. It's the same government. To me, it's the same. It's just change of number one, but it's the same system, same government, like you say, same system. It's the fear they've created in people. People can't speak openly. There's no democracy.
Now, guess what I'm doing? I'm lending a voice so that people can be bold enough and address their issues. Do you know, human beings by nature, we need inspiration. And inspiration brings hope. So what I'm trying to do is to inspire people to move away from the polarization that we've had, to move away from the toxicity we've had. that we can really talk about Shingi and Josey right now and differ. You're not happy with me because I don't want to open up as a PAC member.
Yes.
You're frustrated, but that's okay. And I know that, and I can see that. But we should not then call each other names. We should just know that this is where it is. It is what it is now. But let's not call a spade a big garden spoon, because we never used to call our problems in the past. In the past, in the First Republic, so you refer to it, we never used to call our problems problems. We used to call them challenges. If you were in government and you say, we've got these problems, you probably risk being fired. But how do you define something? Why do you keep calling it as a big garden spoon? Tell it what it is so that we fix the problem. You go to a doctor and you ask, look, I've got this problem. And then, I have something that is moving in my head. It's a headache. Now you can't say, look, my head, I don't know what it is. You got to say what it is. The first place of fixing a problem, Josey, is to identify that this is the problem and agree that this is the problem. Now, when we have a definition of the problem that is wrong, then you have all sorts of solutions that are coming out which have nothing to do with the problem because you've not diagnosed the problem correctly. Have we diagnosed our problem in this country properly? Now, that is the challenge I'm bringing in this season, that we need to diagnose our problems correctly so we fix the right problem. Now, you're going to give me headache tablets when I've got a bleeding wound here.
But the problem is Zanu PF. So how do we solve that?
I don't even want to talk about political parties. So I'm going to move away from that. I'm going to talk about MDC. I'm going to talk about Zanu PF.
I can't even talk about MDC, but Zanu PF is the ruling government.
No, let me talking about. That's why I talk about a system. I talk about our values.
But the system consists of what, Doctor?
People. But I've just told you how leaders are raised on all levels politically. Our culture of nominating you as an MP is because you can scream a lot.
Okay, so Imimi Sapasta Redu, I mean our elder, we look up to you so much, then what do we do? How do we move forward as a nation?
Well, I was hoping we'd get there quicker. But yes.
I was trying to play around your mind to just forget that you have an oath signed somewhere, but I failed.
I'm just as simple as that. But let me just say this to you, simplistically put. The first and foremost is that we need all to come to the table. We need to sit at the table. What has happened is that all of us have been on the table represented by somebody else. But we now need a dialogue, a national dialogue that brings everyone on the table, at the table. So those are two different things. On the table, you are an agenda item. Mm-hmm. At the table, you are a discussant, you are a participant. Mm. So we need a dialogue that has no preconditions. It's unconditional. That is inclusive. So once we do that, we will have, this is dialogue. The reason why I agreed to come to you, just not many people will want to be grilled and put on the spot like this. But how do we get there? How do we model that? How am I going to model what I'm talking about? Mm. If I can't even attend to your show, and then people start saying, oh, he doesn't even want to be talked to. He's just a secretive person.
And believe me, many of them don't even want to talk.
Yes. Then they are so guess what? But then we'll never dialogue. Mm. So we need to flesh out our issues and be honest with each other. So because what I think that is that our situation, I've already told you, our situation is going to get worse. Now, how worse can it be when people have no food right now? You tell me. How worse can it be when we don't have a health delivery service that is going to take care of any, forget about COVID, but there are other illnesses that people are dying still.
Yeah.
So how worse can it be when you know that people are not going back to work? They're not going back to work. How can it be worse when you know that the cross-border traders are not able to buy their wares cross-border because we are quarantined because of COVID? How worse is it going to be? How worse is it going to be when you realize that we can't even, the world cannot help us meaningfully? Now, our assistance on COVID, it's a public information out there, it's 89 million US dollars. That's going to come out. There's a whole group of us who are seen as desperate. In that group, including South Sudan. The group rate euro. So we get 89 million US. We'll probably get a bit more there, a bit more there. This country doesn't need 89 million. This country needs billions to get us going. Not our own billions that we're going to print, but real money so that we can move forward. So if we're going to get there, if we don't get to the table, Josey, if we don't get to the table sooner, we're going to have victims all over the place. We're going to have young people just losing hope. We're going to have women and children suffering because the women and children anchor the society we live in. Things will deteriorate. So we need to dialogue before they even get worse. They are bad now, they'll get worse. So we need to get to the table. And that we need to be sober about it. Because it shouldn't be somebody, well, I still fight. So we need to bring in the political players. Now, people are going to say, well, isn't there Pollard? Pollard is a political dialogue. It's not an inclusive dialogue. Me as a businessman, I'm not represented there. Me as a pastor, I'm not represented there. So you need women, young people, particularly, let me tell you, we need to have serious dialogue which is consistent of women and young people. Therein lies our solution.
So when is that coming up, Doctor?
Now, you don't want me to rant. That's a question that you are saying, because I'm not supposed to rant out there. We need to get to a place where we get to the table and talk.
True. I agree with you.
Even if we need to be forced, we need to be forced to the table.
I agree.
Now, because we're slowly getting to a mutually hating stalemate. Those who are in power and those who are not in power, they're going to feel the same pain. Right now, if we all start getting sick badly, you know we can't leave the country. We have got to sort out our problem. So we are in trouble. Kids want to go to school. Josey, not everyone can afford the online learning. I'm talking to kids that are in the township. I'm talking to parents that are in the township. I'm talking to parents that are in the rural areas. What are we going to do? Not everybody has food. We've just come out of drought. Forget about the economy that wasn't functioning properly. We've got a drought. So how are we going to feed the people? We don't have it. We are a net importer of food. If we don't get ourselves and our act together, if we don't look at each other in the face and say, enough is enough of screaming at each other. Enough is enough of shouting at each other. We need to get to the table. We need to discuss our issues. Everyone, not some.
So are you pushing for that, Doctor?
That's the gist of my message.
Okay.
That's the gist of my journey. To say, look, because we've got this, we all need to come to the table.
There are two questions for you here. Someone asked about your opinion on Chinese taking over the mining system and then mining industry. And then someone asks about your opinion on army involvement in politics.
Okay, Chinese businesses and so we need foreign direct. Let's talk about principles first. We need foreign direct investment, whether it comes from the north, south, east, and west. We need foreign direct investment. What we need, more importantly, is a consistent policy framework that does not just favor the Chinese. But that allows anybody who's bringing in their money to be able to get it out, to get dividends. I don't care whether that money is coming from the Chinese or that money is coming from the Europeans or the Americans. So that's number one. Number two, we must make sure that there is a direct, not indirect, a direct benefit to the local people.
But it's not there. I mean,
that now when I come out ranting, let me just use that word because that's a popular quote now. When I come out ranting and say, look, there is policy deficiency, policy inconsistency. That's what I mean. So we have to fix that. Now there is ZIDA, which I hope ZIDA is going to fix all that. But we've got a whole legacy of issues. So some things are not going to be fixed in a month or in a year or in 2 years. So we've got a journey ahead of us. So yeah, so I'm not going to start attacking the Chinese or the Americans, but we need a policy that favors us as Zimbabweans.
And the army?
The army thing, what was the question, by the way?
Your opinion on the army involvement in politics?
I don't think the army shouldn't be involved in politics. But I see that when people retire and they're no longer in the army, they can go into politics. But you can't be in the army and also be, because the two must be separated. They're two different arms of government.
And then someone says that will the young people be even allowed to sit on that table by these leaders at the table, because the leaders don't even listen to the young people?
Yeah, that's my cry. My real cry is young people and women. In this whole game, what the real victims are in those two constituencies.
Yeah, women are the leaders of tomorrow, but when
they're not even the leaders of tomorrow, they're leaders of today, Josey. Why are you marginalizing?
We can't talk about you. It's PAC. Tell me, how many women are in the council, the PAC?
I don't choose the PAC, so let's not go there.
No, just answer. No, I know you didn't, but how many women are there?
4. 4.
Okay.
So anyway, let's go back to our conversation. So number one is that the young people need to be given their space. This must be intentional. It must not be like, well, by the way, we've got no fun about Uzasuku. It must be intentional. It must be, there must be a deliberate policy framework to empower the young people, to mentor them into. Some of my businesses, like the entrepreneurship, we're really going for young people to make sure that because they are the present and the future. We won't have the same energies in the next 10 years. I won't have, at least certainly for me. I'll be 64. So Africa's biggest blessing is because of the youth dividend. Excuse me. So the youth dividend that it must have. So we boast about that, but where are the youths? We have kicked them all over the place out. They are being churned out of our local universities here and going where? Sit in the streets, sell airtime. That's a sorry state. Now, the problem is not just there. The problem is that by 2008, now you've got to understand the issue. By 2008, my age people and older, we had accumulated our pension, call it by 2000, 2002. Then by 2008, all that pension was wiped out. So the older guys can't leave their jobs. Because where do they go now? They can't retire. Because if they stop working, they won't eat. So you find our structures in society, our structures in government, in business, in churches. It is filled up of older people. It is a survival issue. So they can go anywhere. In a normal economy, they would have retired and they'll be sitting there looking at grandchildren and, now that we've got the land, going and do a bit of farming and so on and so forth. They can't afford that. Now, where do we put the young people? They're closed outside. It's not sustainable, Josey.
So people are asking you for mentorship.
Look, oh yeah, where I can, I do. Josey, I go out there, do seminars, conferences, workshops. I do the best that I can, but I can't just do it myself. Even when I've done that, it's almost like you say, okay, let's go in this direction, but they go and hit a brick wall. We've got a youth empowerment bank. We now need to know, to do an account, an assessment, what have they achieved in the past 2 years? How many youths have been empowered? How many projects out there? What is the dividend that has been harvested out of that? We need to know. I don't know. Maybe there is, but this should be public information so that the young people can call this their own country. I'm telling you, I work more with the young people than I work with the older folk. Below 25, I spend my time there. These guys have nothing good to say about our country.
Yes. What is there to say?
I can tell you, rightfully so, because they have nothing to show for it. They leave university, they go and pack off at home. We've got people who are 35, 40 years staying with their parents. Qualified, degreed. We can't walk that path and just blink out and say, look, at some point things, they can't. There's got to be a leadership that says, let's plan this thing properly. Dialogue is the starting point. Dialogue also gives you the opportunity to be able to start a healing process. This country needs healing.
It does, yes.
We are a wounded lot.
Mm.
The way we react to one another, we are a wounded lot. So we need dialogue. We need healing. When we've done that, we need to reconcile one to another, forgive one another. Where there is need for restoration, restitution, then we talk about it. There's absolutely no other. There is no, let me tell you, and I want to be proved wrong. There is no way out of this except the dialogue route.
That I already told you that. Of course, I don't even know why I'm agreeing with you, because I was so angry with you that you're an advisor, so you are to blame. Of course, you're the only available advisor that we can talk to. But if the oath again, but why? Okay, let's talk about Nelson Chamisa. Nelson Chamisa has a huge following, right? So we will not talk about other parties like MDC or whatever. Right now we put Nelson Chamisa here, we put Emmerson Mnangagwa here. I know you are Emmerson Mnangagwa's advisor, but Nelson Chamisa is a pastor, you are a pastor. So you need to play a role, I think, Dr. Munyeza. You need to play a role. Why don't you then meet Nelson Chamisa, encourage the dialogue, and obviously go to the mountain yourself, to your boss that you advise, do something. You can rant to us about dialogue, calling for a dialogue, but it starts there. And you are a good mediator. You can do it.
Why do you think that I might not be doing that?
Because under oath you did not say it.
So anyway, ultimately you've got to also bring in the power brokers, the power players into dialogue.
Yes.
So the rest of us can quickly get to the table. You need the power players and the power brokers, because those are two different.
And you need to tell them to let go of their egos and all their pride. I mean, all this ego. I am Nelson Chamisa, I am Emmerson Mnangagwa, and the masses are suffering. That's unfair. Both of them, Nelson Chamisa and Emmerson Mnangagwa, should just swallow and get rid of those egos, please.
Let me tell you one thing. One of the mistakes we make is that we end up having personality cult.
And idolizing people. Yes,
it's a personality cult, so we idolize people. So I refuse to talk about the leaders you've talked about. I said leadership is collective. They are not there by themselves. Ultimately, we need to deal with the whole culture of how we deal with leadership. The moment you make me a hero, and I don't want to be a hero, let me just tell you this. In fact, if it hasn't been asked, I have no intention to form a political party. So
I was going to ask that before we go, but thank
I have
you.
no intention to do that. So let's just get out of that one and then make sure that we have other conversations. But I have every intention to make sure that Zimbabwe is a better place. So I'm not going to spare anything that is within my means to make sure that this country becomes a better, my own contribution. I'm not going to have the singular biggest contribution. No, I'll do my bit. So I'm not going to relent. I'm not going to cower away. I'm not going to go into a hole and hide. No, I'm not going to do that. I am going to do the best. But the issue is that don't make me into a personality cult. Don't come and worship at my doorstep. I'm Shingi.
I can die for Shingi Munyeza.
So don't die for me.
I can die for Shingi Munyeza.
The best, if you want to die for somebody, die for your family members. If you want to die for something, even those, in my view, where I come from, Christ died for all of us. But at this point in time, you must be, we cannot afford to do that. People are impoverishing themselves because of an individual.
Mm.
So because that is the culture we have enhanced, inculcated, the one that we have celebrated. We want saviors. We want heroes. That is our problem. That's why we have a hero's eka. Everyone wants to be celebrated once they die. Why do you want to be celebrated once you die? Get your family and friends to celebrate you whilst you're still alive.
Mm. Wow. So, yeah. Thank you so much.
I should be asking you questions.
Ask.
You if you...
Yeah, no problem. I'm here. Ask.
What is the single thing that you think women and young people can contribute to our country?
Women in Zimbabwe or collectively anyway?
Oh, I'm talking about in Zimbabwe. You are Zimbabwean. I know you are outside the country, but I'm talking about them. What do you think women can do for this country? What should be done to women for them to be allowed to blossom, to prosper?
Okay. It still boils down to the same issue. We need to be accepted at the table by the leadership that we are here discussing, that they will never allow that. They will never accept that. Our voices, our voices are like drowned. We do not even have voices. Look at, if you go, I think, we follow each other on Twitter. You see the attacks I get simply because I'm a woman, simply because I refuse to idol worship this one, I refuse to idol worship this one, and then I'm called names and such things. But it takes a strong woman to survive that. So that is another thing, like you said, that healing. I think there is nothing that can happen except there is healing in our country. We need to accept each other. We need to find common ground. We need to start, tolerate each other. Accept each other for who we are, Zimbabweans.
Okay, Josey, you are young.
Mm-hmm.
At least you're not my age. So you're young. You're a lady. I'm not going to ask how old you are. But
I'm 37. Don't worry. I don't hide it. I'm 37.
Okay, fine. You're still young. You're below 40. So anyway, what is the thing that you think we can do with our young people? Because I'm asking these questions because sometimes we come up with prescriptions for people and we've not asked the question. We've got leaders. My age, we still think that we must prescribe the things that nurtured us in the 80s, in the 70s, and so on. But we're not asking the right questions.
Can we have all these old people leave, go to their farms and give us an opportunity?
I've just told you, most of them don't have farms. So you can't ask for that. But I'm just...
Those ones, that... My plots are that's good enough for everybody as a village.
But just you won't be solving the problem.
Allow us to form our youth government, please, and we'll prove you wrong.
Okay, fantastic. Well, you say it. So it's okay. I like to hear it as raw because that is what's important. How do we get there? So I like to ask young people because they rejuvenate my thinking. I know you and I struggled with trying to connect to Facebook because maybe I should have used my laptop, which is at work, but now my iPad didn't. But you know, I don't use paper. I'm a paperless person in my office because I use technology. But guess who got me there? It's the young people I play with. So I'm not an immigrant into technology because I run technological companies.
You know, before...
But I want to connect with young people more because I want to be able to be old in my 70s and know that I'm safe. At the going rate, if we don't fix this with our young people, we are not safe at 70. That come and take what we have. So that's my cry. So all these rantings, and I want to use that word, all these rantings I've been having, it is out of actually just say, look, can we fix this?
You know, the other problem that I see is that, talking of our president himself, he has children my age. He has a lot of children that fall in that youth category. It also depends what their visions are, because if they go to their dad and they're busy talking about things that just benefit them, that is another problem. But imagine you have a youth child as a president who comes to you and say, Dad, this is what we need to do, us as young people. That is another issue as well. We have brothers and sisters in the State House that should be representing us, that should be pushing for us as well. I need to address that. You should have asked me that question because you are asking me questions now. So I need to address that. Our brothers and sisters, the Emerson Juniors and all the girls and the brothers there, they need to also realize that, yes, I know right now probably it's all about their tummies, but surely you cannot be that cruel to forget your sisters and brothers in the villages and all. They don't even have voices. Not everybody has a voice or an opportunity to talk to the president's advisor like this. So this is an opportunity. Please, you need to address these issues. We've been abandoned. We've been left alone as the youth of Zimbabwe, as women. You know, before I connected with you, on Sunday, I have a guest, and she was telling me painful things. You know her. I'm going to be having a similar chat with Dr. Arikana, Ambassador Arikana. She told me a lot of things that, oh God, you can just get emotional.
So ultimately, what I'm then saying to us here is that let's be solution seekers. One of the things that that's why I keep talking about a system, a faulty thinking, which informs our values, is that we have put qualifications ahead of values. So we think we must accumulate more degrees, and yet there is no value proposition that as we qualify, as we go about our business, this is how we will put ourselves together. So the way we then go on, we just then put on that qualification, and yet that qualification, we don't even execute the skill or whatever it allows us to do. It is not there. So we need to go for a big bath and wash our minds, wash our hearts, and have a different eye to what we see and how we do things. So there is that value proposition that we need to come together. So when we come together, not if, when we come together, we need to agree on a set of values. Now, the Constitution actually has some of those values. So we need to agree on the set of values that we never again should we treat each other this way. We are sons and daughters of one. So let's deal with this. Never should we feel that we belong to that party and that party, from that region and that region, from that tribe.
That is the
that
problem.
tribe,
Yeah.
that you are a woman and that I am a man, that you're old, that I'm young. Why can't we just have a value system that look at each other and say, look, you know, it's good to always, let's embrace one another. You are different from me, but how do we embrace one another? Surely we can do that. That's, you know, I come from a big family. They 6 children. So maybe not as big as some, but we learned as we grew up that we can't all be the same.
Yes.
So why can't we carry that value proposition, the Ubuntu, that forget about Christianity or any other religion, just the Ubuntu thing. Azvibvumirwe.
I think you cannot live without addressing. This question keeps coming up, and that is another thing here, that you need to talk about the 3 young women who are arrested at a roadblock and cannot be accounted for. I see it keeps coming up. Maybe you should just
let me tell you, I have no place for a lawless behavior by anyone, whether it is done by government, by whatever arms of government, by individuals, by companies. It is wrong. We have a constitution that clearly states where people, if they have messed up, where they should go. We have a constitution that if there is somebody missing, what is the role of our government? And what is the role of society? So that is wrong. I can't. I've said it on my TL for all the things that happened last year, the abductions and so on. I don't have, because it is defining who we are.
Yeah.
All is defining who we are. So we can wake up and Josey is not there, and our life must just carry on. Where in the world do you have? What kind of a people have we become?
Because the most confusing thing is Herald wrote that they are in police custody, and now police says they are not there. So people end up with...
Now you come back to me. We have a system that is a faulty thinking. So which individual are you going to point? At the end of the day, it's a whole system, how people have now, and now we've got a value proposition that looks normal, and yet is so abnormal. Because it's coming from a faulty angle. So people are going on. Life goes on as normal.
So what must people do? Like in this instance, 3 women are missing, or wherever they are, nobody knows where they are.
You just have to keep looking for them because no one knows where they are. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part. So now when I say we've got a default system, now you say I'm ranting. Now when I say we've got the wrong values, you say I'm ranting.
Because people feel like you're telling the wrong people instead of telling the people behind.
Yeah, when I say all these things, it is making sure that you must know that these things are wrong. If I am not loud enough, if I don't say these things at Josey, so you'd rather me keep quiet because I must just talk to the president quietly.
No, we appreciate Dr. Munyeza. Thank you so much.
Well, Josey, you keep up the good work, and I hope that your followers will have learned 1 or 2 things. I have no issues. They can tag me on, they can inbox me, we can talk about other things.